I always lead with grace, but sometimes I have to be me. And I have to be the person that likes to drop certain F bombs and certain things and tell people about themselves. And I'm going to be nice today in a certain way. I'm going to use this button when I want to say something derogatory against somebody's character, an ad hominem, right? I'm attacking you in this debate. Um, Daryl Morey, who is the GM of the Philadelphia 76ers currently, said that the 2020 bubble championship, nobody respects it. You know, people behind the scenes, they talk about it, they don't respect it, yada, 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 right? And I've heard that several times. But then there's another part of this story which I've also heard. And it just makes me laugh because it's about how people view things. So this is the quote. It truly doesn't hold up as a genuine championship. But he said that if his Houston Rockets would have won the championship, obviously he would have celebrated and it would have been a legit championship. So it's not a legit championship because what? LeBron James and the Lakers won it? Or your team wasn't suited or designed well enough to be able to sustain the attrition that the bubble gave the players. This was something that took them back to their AAU days, right? Where there's no distractions, there's no clubs, there's no women, there's nothing that can be able to distract you and you have a personal life. The bubble was just about basketball. You woke up, you went to practice, you ate your food, you got shots up, you played your game, you went back to the hotel, you got treatment, you went ahead and spoke to your family, you went ahead and went to sleep, and rinse and repeat. It was a basketball environment. It was a basketball world. Everything outside of the bubble did not matter because all this was basketball focused. And a lot of these players that were there could not hang. They couldn't deal with it. They needed to escape. They had to do something. They weren't just used to just playing basketball. But you know what the Lakers ended up doing? They bonded together. They sat in that bubble. They made sure that they were consistent, they were persistent, and they made sure that they got what they went in there for, and that was the championship. They focused on basketball. LeBron James said this was the hardest championship that he had to win because there are no other distractions. You had to be locked in every single day to be able to keep your mind focused on the task at hand. You don't have family visiting you. You don't have reporters and all this other stuff in your face. You're not going here. You're not doing photo shoots. You're just playing basketball. And most of these guys haven't had that type of environment since they were 13, 14, 15, 16, 17 years of age. So, of course, somebody like Daryl Morey, who doesn't know about basketball, is that he literally GMs like this is NBA 2K. He just puts players together and thinks it's going to fucking work. Of course, he wouldn't appreciate what it is to actually really have to be a unit in a team and have chemistry. I tell people all the time, talent is one thing, but you have to trust the person that's in front of you and that's beside you. And if you don't have that special bond, no matter if you're best friends or not, you don't have to be best friends with somebody to share a chemistry connection on a basketball team, on a football team, a baseball team, whatever it is. But you know that you can trust them when times get hard on the playing surface, whether it's a court, a field, a diamond, whatever it is, you can trust that person to be able to do what they have to do. Chemistry matters in every facet of life. When you meet somebody and you want that person to be your significant other, you need chemistry to be able to continue to have a fruitful relationship. All of that lust and physical desire, that still is around, but that fades after a while. Chemistry doesn't. Or it does, and if it does, then it's time to part ways. It's the same thing at your work environment. You don't need to be friends with your your work partners or whatever it is, your coworkers, but you need some type of camaraderie and chemistry to make sure your work environment is a positive one. Chemistry is about how you can be able to create something out of nothing. I might not be as good as you, but because we are simpatico in how we think and we're trying to get to the same place, I know my role, we know our roles, and we're going to try to figure this out and get there together. And that's what sports is about. It's the great equalizer when it comes to chemistry. I've seen decent teams win championships because of chemistry. The Boston Red Sox, what do they call them? The idiots? That team, they were good, but were they the most talented team in baseball? I wouldn't say that. But the chemistry they had, the bond that team had, the brotherhood that they had, is some of the best, locker rooms you will ever see in sports history. When they were down 3-1 or 3-0, they knew that because they trusted each other, that they can be able to get out of that hole and figure it out and win that series and then eventually win the World Series against the Cardinals, right? So we've seen these things. Chemistry matters, and this is exactly what the Lakers did. They bonded through COVID. They bonded going into the bubble. They bonded while they were in the bubble with all the social stuff, the injustice that was happening, the Floyd stuff, everything that was going on outside of the bubble, people dying, people getting sick. They bonded collectively to say, let's go ahead and get this done. Let's do this for our city. Kobe Bryant dying, right? All of these things motivated them to stay the course while other teams folded. Teams like the Clippers who didn't want to be there. Other teams like, there's so many stories that you hear out of the bubble that so many teams wanted to pack up and go home. They couldn't hang. So when you talk about that this is a fraudulent championship, go yourself, honestly, because you're the reason why this sport doesn't appreciate certain milestones, because all you do is just put bullshit teams together. This is why your teams stink. This is why Joel Embiid has a couple of years left and you gave him one of the worst contracts in the NBA. Why? Because you're an idiot. So anything that Daryl Morey says, take it with a grain of salt, because he's not a smart man when it comes to trying to build a franchise and build a roster. You got lucky with inheriting James Harden. What have you done since? Not much. So when we talk about him, other people that have said things about the bubble doesn't count, what makes you any type of aficionado or historian about what counts and what doesn't? Everybody that played in that bubble said that this was the hardest thing that they ever had to deal with. There's no home crowds, there's nothing but basketball. And a lot of these people realized how much basketball wasn't a central focus in their minds as they thought it was. They needed all of these other outside influence and distractions to keep them level. You can't just focus on basketball every day. So the Lakers and LeBron showed you that they were able to do that. They made sacrifices to be able to win a championship. Phil Handy said something very, very nice on social media. And shouts to Phil Handy. He's now with the Dallas Mavericks. I miss Phil Handy. But he said something very, very interesting on his social media. And I would love to read this because people like Phil Handy deserve to be highlighted and shown flowers. So let's go ahead and see what Phil Handy said. They talk all that ish. He said they can talk all that ish they want. If you weren't in the bubble to win it, they may want to keep quiet about it. Exactly. Every team came into the bubble to compete and win a championship. If Houston would have beat us and won it, I'm sure they wouldn't be saying it wasn't real. LOL. So that's the thing, is that you can be able to say to the girl, oh, I didn't want you anyway. Why? Because she rejected you? Because she didn't want you? So it's fine that you can be able to say, oh, I broke up with her. Why? Because she didn't broadcast it? Because you didn't get her? You need to make yourself look better. When in hindsight, you were just another loser, just like everybody else in your team couldn't hang. Oh, so sorry. So sorry. For the Laker haters out there, for the LeBron haters, it's not a real championship. You keep trying to sully this man's legacy, and I just don't understand it. What about the San Antonio Spurs that won championship in the lockout? 1998, 99, 50 games? How is that not an asterisk? So that counts, but the bubble doesn't. What about the other season that was locked out and you only had 66 games? Was that an asterisk? No. So what are we talking about here? But the fact that the Lakers and LeBron do it, it has to be fake. People show you their intentions just as soon as they open their mouth. So, am I surprised that idiot Daryl Morey will say something like this? No. Am I surprised when people off the street that don't know basketball, that have no idea how basketball actually works, say this? No. Am I shocked when I even hear pundits talk about it? No. Because there's always this agenda to be able to try to water down LeBron's career anyhow you can do it. But I wonder if Kobe Bryant would have won this championship if he would have said the same thing. I wonder if Michael Jordan would have won this type of championship. Would you have heard the same thing? I'm sure not. You know what you probably would have heard? Oh my God, Jordan, he would wake up every morning at 3 a.m., hit the gym, and just go out there and compete, man. He won the toughest championship out of the 7 that he won. We would never hear anything about an asterisk. So it's all about who does things instead of what they do. Always remember that. Barry Bonds broke the home run record. People tend to try to sully that record. What if Aaron Judge breaks it? Oh my God, he's the best home run hitter in the world. There's nobody better than Aaron Judge. It's not about what you do. It's about who does it.